Hey, everybody, you missed my song earlier.
There we go. That's a man. That's what a man looks like.
Welcome to a hairless, ripped chest episode of Dude Soup. You have your bowl poured, and then these two little man boobs just float right to the top. You poke it with your spoon, and you don't know what's going on. We're joined by a very special guest today, Craig.
Craig's good.
It's Craig.
It's good to miss.
Yeah. So I had no idea how to pronounce your name until I saw you on an episode of Slam Ball.
Yeah.
The coolest fucking thing in the world.
Yeah, man, that was awesome. That was fun.
Did you twist your ankle?
No, but I saw the most gruesome ankle
Really?
injury I've ever seen in my life. Would you like to hear about it?
Yeah, tell me.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the number one rule of slam ball.
Okay.
Well, when you're training for slam ball, is when you jump on a trampoline, right? You're jumping 10 feet in the air, right?
Yeah.
So the last thing you want to do is like look down because you lose your balance.
Okay.
So you want to find a spot on the wall, find where you're jumping, and as you're learning to jump, you jump straight up and down, right?
Yeah.
So this guy, and they actually made it like a slam ball documentary. And
Really? What's it called?
Slam ball documentary.
Oh, okay.
But I think you can find it on Spike TV or something, Spike.com.
What is slam ball, real quick?
Okay, so slam ball was this,
Come on.
it was like this
This guy.
No, so it's this thing I did in like 2003 when I was a baby, and it's a made-for-TV sport that was full contact basketball with trampolines. In the
Okay,
court.
I remember. It was one of those bad ideas on Spike.
Shut up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like the XFL.
And I did that. It was good.
No fair catch here. Okay, gotcha. Slam ball.
So,
all right, I'm on board.
So the idea is that you jump up and down, right, and you focus in on some area on the wall, and as you're learning to jump, it teaches you how to do it. Well, this guy, he was probably 6 foot, maybe 230, really stout guy, did not look in shape. He just got his first dunk, right?
Okay.
Right? And it was a big deal. He had been training for like 3 days. So he goes up in the air, and usually when you come up, you jump up, and then when you come down, you have both feet hit at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, he looked down.
Oh, no.
So when he came down, these are his feet. He led with 1 foot.
Oh, no.
So one foot went
No.
like No kidding. I'm not kidding when I say this. His foot was attached by his sock.
Slam ball.
That was the most his
God.
blood was so fresh. It was like bright orange pouring out of his body.
That's horrifying.
But the guy was running in 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
it
good.
was quite impressive. So he pretty much just a total severed leg, and they ended up connecting it, and it was great.
Oh.
I think his name was Tom, if I remember correctly. But man,
He's like, if nothing else, I'll be remembered for this. I think his name was.
You'll remember Tom. Carrying him out on a stretcher.
so that was fun.
Awesome.
Oh boy.
Well, welcome, Craig.
Yeah.
Thanks, appreciate that. Thanks for acknowledging my slam ball days.
Both Craig, his past with Slam Ball, and this episode of Dude Soup are all brought to you by two sponsors, Nature Box and Sherry's Berries. We'll be hearing more from those later. But first, we have to discuss how Rockstar wants to kill gaming once and for all.
Finally.
So we've been following the mod scene pretty closely. You can kind of see that on the No channel. We've been producing a lot of episodes about that because people love GTA.
You guys do the no?
Yeah, we do.
Awesome.
Thank you for
You didn't know?
Yeah.
How dare you?
I actually went down there once. I went to Austin once. Sorry to interrupt you. But
No, don't.
I did this once. I went down there when we first started get to know Rooster Teeth.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, do you want to be on the no? And I think it was Meg, and I tried to do, I'm a horrible reader, especially a live reader. And I tried to do one, and I was like, okay, you know what, actually, let's get him in. And Sean, our news guy, was down there, and it was a bad experience for me.
You got passed on?
I
Kicked off the
got
no.
major passed on the episode.
And then some dude just tumbles down and snaps his ankle in half. Why does this keep happening to
It's
me?
this weird thing that happens around
Man, Tom is the new permanent co-host of the No as soon as he gets out of the hospital.
Do you also find, Craig, that working on a full-time production schedule that you don't have time to actually watch anything? So
As far as movies, TV shows?
I mean other YouTube channels or anything.
Right
or,
now, Adam's salting the earth to say that he doesn't watch any of our
No,
content.
I'm just saying I try to, but it's hard.
It's tough, but that's one of my jobs as Screw Attack is to find new content to incorporate into Screw Attack. So, I'd be lying if I told you I was the guy responsible for all of it, because a lot of times it's my guys going, hey, this person's pretty funny, you should check them out. So I rely heavily on them, but yeah, there's so much crap going on a day-to-day basis. I wish I had more time to watch more stuff, because there's a lot of really talented people.
No.
I mean, or at least people who try to be talented.
We had this conversation. We were talking to some YouTube people. They were asking us for a wish list of things that we wanted. And I don't know how many people here have a Google phone or anything, but if you upload a Google Plus, they'll auto make a storybook for you.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, could you do that with video on YouTube? And they're like, I'm like, they didn't say yes or no, but I like threw that idea out there. I'm like, I would like channels to just like pull clips and then make a like video montage for me, so I could catch up on channels of like the best parts, basically, because I just don't have time to watch like a 40-minute video half the time. So I don't know. That's cool.
Thanks
You're
for
that
watching
achievement
this.
hunter?
Thanks
Hey.
for watching this 40+ minute video, everybody.
Oh yeah, no, sorry. I'm just saying, because I work in this industry, it's hard for me to keep up with other people's videos. It's something like, I don't know how many hundreds of hours get uploaded a minute, but it's actually impossible to keep up. So it is actually kind of cool when people, go out of their way to watch your video for an hour. Thanks for watching for an hour, guys.
Thank
Even
you.
live.
We just know we're background noise for somebody else grinding in Destiny, but that's fine. That means we're serving some sort of function in the world, which is more than I was doing 5 years ago.
One of your many senses.
What?
Hi.
What are you
Sense
talking
of
about?
belonging?
What? No. I'm saying like a person has 5 senses, and never mind.
Ah.
Oh my god.
Wow. If you guys are just going to
What's
ridicule me,
next
I'm
for
just
us
going
to
shut
talk
up and
about?
play the game.
Rockstar.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to recap, it was kind of a murky situation there for a while. We didn't know if mods were even going to come to GTA 5, and then they started to in the form of scripts. Ah, look at that!
Easter egg.
Look at that!
Hold on.
Get down there. You do that.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Keep
Oh,
talking.
Joe, jump on the pipe.
Did you jump?
Jump over the rail. Jump on the pipe.
Can't jump
there's
yet.
no jumping.
You can't
Oh.
jump yet?
Haven't unlocked
You can't
the
jump
jump
at all?
ability.
Not yet.
You got to kill 5 Nazis
Sorry,
before
bro.
you can jump.
Damn it, come
Oh,
on.
there it goes. So yeah, to recap, so scripts came out, then people were starting to really fuck with the behavior of the game in some fun ways. Like in single player, you could spawn animals, you could throw a whale around, you could have like slow-mo, you have gravity guns, you could have guns that shoot cars. A lot of cool mod shit. It was just getting pretty crazy. And then people figured out how to take that into online because it's basically the same game. People were like, they had a minigun that would shoot bags of money at people. And
amazing.
yeah, so not surprisingly, bans soon followed. People that were exploiting, people that were even implicit in the exploits. I heard some people say that they picked up some of this gun cash and they got banned for that.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. But this is just what they're saying, man. It's the internet. People say all sorts of things.
But I believe them.
Yes.
Yeah, you should always believe
Did
it.
they
No
write
one
in all caps?
lies.
Yeah,
Yeah, actually, they did.
I'm with Adam. Why would anybody lie on the internet?
Yeah, there's no reason.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
We're all honest here.
And then the final nail hit when people that were modding the single-player portion of the game and not going into online started getting banned. At least that's what the internet says.
What, do you get banned from the single player?
Yeah. Well, so you can't get banned from single player. They got banned from online for using mods in single player. So theoretically, nobody actually spelled this out, so I have my doubts. But what they report is they had modded single player, they removed the mods, tried to play online, and then found out that they were banned. And according to them, they never took a modified game online, but it's the same executable that runs
Yeah.
both games. So
It might know if someone's fucking with it.
basically,
under
yeah, ostensibly any kind of like file check would also put up flags at Rockstar whether you went online or not. And this seems to cross some kind of a moral boundary with players. The idea being that once I've bought your game, I can do whatever I want with it. And if I'm not ruining anyone else's fun or trying to break your online experience, why would you then punish me? So yeah, and also some people found, and it was kind of mistakenly reported that it was recently added, but Rockstar Games' end-user license agreement is pretty clear. I got a quote here, big long one, so give me a second. It says, quote, "You agree to not reverse engineer, decompile, disassemble, display, perform, prepare derivative works based on, or otherwise modify the software in whole or in part. And by violating that agreement, you agree, or basically you rescind your license to use the game." So Rockstar, by publicly viewable terms, say if you try to decompile or fuck with our game assets, we can revoke your license to use
Also,
our game.
not to mention, I know people don't like hearing this. You don't own the game.
Yeah, you have a
Right.
license to use the game.
Yeah, so it's like it's not yours. I mean, I'm not trying to say that in like a hoity-toity, like mean way. Like legally, you do not own the game. You don't own software. You kind of lease it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a crappy car.
More or less borrowed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so-
this kind of kicked off a big. I feel like these discussions happen in a cycle, maybe once every 8 years,
Yeah.
of a new generation or coming to terms with the fact that platform holders can do whatever the fuck they want with what they made in the world, and you can whine about it on the internet all you want. Rockstar is very good about ignoring people that whine. So it kind of kicked off this interesting back and forth where the people who are super into mods say Rockstar is very dumb for not embracing
Oh.
That's funny.
mod community. But then Rockstar, I'm sure, is sitting on their mountains of cash, saying like, "Wait, why should I care?" So I don't know. Where do you guys fall? Do you think it's a mistake for Rockstar to not embrace mods? Do you think it's smart for them, or really, like, what do you see their justification in being anti-mod in the first place?
I kind of felt this way when we were doing the new news story on the No.
Yeah.
they've made a lot of money. I understand what you were saying, because you were saying things like, hey, these companies have to figure out a way to continue making money off their properties until they can make a new property that'll make them more money. And I understand that. I understand why that works and how that works. For me, though, it's like you made a lot of money. You made a lot of money just by selling it, you know? And that doesn't give us a right to just, like, enjoy it for free for the rest of the time. But, like, God, I wish you could just turn a blind eye. I wish you could just turn a blind eye and let people enjoy your game and just have fun with it. I know we don't have a right to, but you have a shit ton of money. and if the smart thing would be, let them mod and then try and figure out on the back end how to sell them something that would make the modding easier. Get more people involved in that community, right? Then now all of a sudden they're creating the content and you just become the bridge for it. And I know we talked about this with Steam trying to basically sell mods, but that might have been a little too overt. Maybe there's some other smarter way that a company with as large of a user base as Rockstar has can figure out, how do we get more people modding and how do we take a piece of that pie?
Well, so there's a ton of people who are playing GTA and just Rockstar games in general, right? So the thing that I always try to keep in mind is perspective of how big the mod community actually is compared to the actual people who are playing the game.
Yeah.
Right? It's a small piece, right?
Yeah.
I can totally see both sides of the argument. From a business perspective, right? Like, it's theirs, as Adam said, like, you don't technically own the game, you buy it, but I mean, you didn't program it, you didn't, you know, whatever. So you're essentially buying the game permanently, or borrowing the game permanently, as much as
You're buying a license
Yes.
to
Yeah.
access digital content.
So
That's how a lawyer will tell you.
so, you know, I think it's one of those things where, you know, yeah, they made a ton of money. Oh,
Nice.
God damn it,
Head just
Wolfenstein.
exploded. Yeah, this game is so... Did you ever play this game?
not the reboot of this.
Oh, man, it's so good.
Yeah, that's all I heard was it was amazing.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
So good.
blood everywhere. It's so much fun. Actually, my guys were playing this. Were playing this on our Twitch stream, and they got owned up on it at this part, and they thought it was so easy, and then
Wait,
just getting
how do you think it's so easy when you're 5 minutes into the game?
Well, that was just it. He was talking.
You just
about
like
the
shoot through,
noise.
be like, "Pfft, I got there. Oh,
Yeah.
Maybe they played the original? Did they play the
No,
original?
they were playing this. They were playing this exact spot in the game, and he was
okay.
like, "Oh, look at me, I'm killing everybody." And then this guy dropped a bomb on him, and he died 3 times in a row. So, but it's it's one of those things where like I think that when you go,
there it goes.
Yeah, don't shotgun in that room.
I think that you can look at it and go, okay, so from a business perspective, like, yeah, they made a lot of money, but there's still a lot of families and a lot of kids that need to go through college, and that's a lot of money and a lot of employees, and
That's
there's
true.
And how much is really too much money?
Yeah, and
right?
what business ever went, you know what?
That's
We've
enough.
had enough.
That's enough.
No,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
But from a community perspective, it's like, dude, just chill out. We're not breaking anything. And I think, one of you guys mentioned that the idea of like if somebody is actually screwing with the gaming experience, absolutely, fuck them, right?
Yes.
Screw that guy so hard. But it's one of those things where it's like, if it's not messing with anything, why? Why bother?
Yeah.
You
You and your bros just having fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're saying, though, maybe, as always, sometimes the internet is just really loud, and it makes it seem like there's a lot of them when there aren't that many. And I'm saying the internet generally, of course.
Don't generalize,
We're referring to
James.
all the different little
We're not
facets
all-
in
not
the
all the
internet
same.
that specifically apply to the thing that I'm saying.
Oh, you're sure.
But it does also seem like, to the modder's point, if the community is just loud but not that small, how much money could Rockstar make off of them? You know,
No, you're absolutely
like
right.
if they decide to try, if they're like, we don't want you to do this, and they haven't come out and said we don't want you to mod our game because we plan on doing things that you will buy. But if modders start doing things, then you won't buy those games. But if their plan is to not have mods because they feel like that would cut into a slice of whatever DLC they plan on releasing or something like that, and it isn't about breaking the game experience for other people, then it's like, well, but how much money do you plan on making off these really loud, small groups of people?
That's absolutely true.
These are also the people who I'm totally generalizing. I know we get a lot of shit for that, but like
Have to.
There's no other way to
We
specify.
can't talk to each individual
Oh
human
my
being.
god! Wow, did you see the 2 grenades in
Doing
his
it
eyes?
Smart.
They almost conquered Europe. Of course
I was
they're
saying,
smart.
like, I've seen this sort of behavior before where people are like, they will they will love you and drop you the minute anything goes good or bad.
absolutely.
So like the Gabe Newell thing really surprised me. Where people like we've had 15 straight years of Gabe Newell's God,
Gabe
PC
is
Master
God.
Race. He'll do everything for us. And the minute there's one thing wrong, they made a mod where you can murder the man. And I'm like, I don't know if I want you being my friend. Like, I don't know if I want you supporting me because you'll probably just drop. You'll leave me if I do anything wrong. Like we always tell our audience, like, please be patient with us. If we try new things, we're trying new things to make you happy. We try to be experimental, and please just trust us that we're trying to make content that's good for you. And for the most part, our audience is really good. I love our audience. They do fantastic things. But like,
Love you.
But I think when you start to get really general, and there's people who are like just have a vague idea of who you are, they're like, yeah, Funhaus is this fun group of guys. They change one thing. Fuck them. They're dead to me. I'm gonna murder their family. Like
Certainly.
Like it's like I don't know if I'm gonna go out of my way for you, sir.
Well, do you know how
Or
many
ma'am.
times Screw Attack has been killed by the internet in the last 10 years? Like, Screw Attack has died on the internet like 7 or 8 times. Every time somebody gets fired, every time something changes, every time
it's
we end a
over.
show, Screw Attack is dead. And it's like, the hardcore, we call our community G1s, the hardcore G1s, like, they really stick with us. They've always stuck with us. And there are people who have literally grown up, gotten married, had babies while being fans of Screw Attack. Those are the people that stick, right? The people who, watch like one episode of, whatever, a top 10 or a death battle or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm a fan of Screw Attack. Well, no, you're not. Like, you'll be out at, whenever we bring in somebody you don't like, right?
I guess I'm saying from our small world perspective, compared to like Rockstar's, they've dealt with this for much longer and have seen it. So like, I don't know if they're going to try to appease the reactionary groups
no.
of the world.
Oh shit.
Oh my
yeah,
god!
this-
oh my
This
God.
game's mean.
It's hard. It's a real shooter, Adam.
I'm
I
just
love
curious.
it.
Nazis everywhere.
When the G1s start modding Screw Attack, what do you guys do? Do you just close that down, drop the hammer?
It's funny. I guess the equivalent of modding would be taking our shows and
taking your video, like
and-
recutting
oh,
it,
yeah, that's
re-uploading
true.
it somewhere else.
They've actually taken our series and created G1 versions of it. So, like we do a series called The Best Ever. So
Oh, yeah.
the G1s do a G1 version of The Best Ever.
So you guys are cool with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, as long as they're not like, Screw Attack made this, and these are Screw Attack personalities. Like,
Yeah,
as long
yeah.
as it's just clearly known that this is not made by them, I mean, we're cool with that.
I had to tell a kid one time, like, hey, stop monetizing our stuff, please. Like,
Oh,
dude-
me too.
Yeah, it's like I get what you're doing. Like, you can upload it, it's fine. Reuse our stuff. Like, or I guess I'm not trying to put the word out there. It's fine, but it's like I'm not going to go out of my way to do a video takedown. But if you're making money off of stuff that we made, like that kind of sucks.
So that's one thing we've actually seen a lot of, right, with Death Battle, is people produce that. There was Let's Play videos now, and now there's Let's Watch videos. Have you guys seen these?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Or they just
okay.
put VO over a video.
Yes,
and,
or they put what the equivalent is of this podcast, where in the upper corner it's them watching the video and they're sitting there going, and the
Oh,
video's just
I like that
playing.
part.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so it's like, and they're monetizing it, right? So there's been a few people that we've had to be like, hey, dude,
That's
like,
not cool.
You're
Yeah.
literally spoiling it for other people by uploading it to your channel, and we like it sucks because it puts us in a bad situation.
Yeah.
Because we will always look like the bad guy, right?
Right.
You always look like the bad guy when you go, hey, listen, you can't do that because you're essentially taking away from everybody who worked hard on doing this, and everyone worked really hard on this content, and you're taking it and really literally uploading it as your own.
But then to
And no,
expand
I'm
the
not.
analogy, they'd be like, "No, we're promoting it for you.
Exactly.
We're doing you a service." It's
It's
amazing.
Such a different analogy from a Let's Play than a Let's Watch,
Yeah.
right?
it
you
comes
know,
down to interactivity, really. But yeah.
Exactly. Like in this, the gameplay, while there is a beginning and end, there's many ways you can get there, right? Your experiences change every single time, but in a video, you are watching from beginning to end, and you cannot alter that video at all. There's no way to move left or right or change the result of it. So the idea of promoting the promotion of that, I've never bought that. And
Yeah.
we always come off as like really just like me in particular. I always come off as like the asshole dirtbag boss guy, right? But that's not the interest. Is my job is to protect the guys that work hard on our content, and that's gonna explode.
Sure.
And everybody else who
Oh yeah. Oh,
being I wasn't.
Check the door in the back. Oh,
Oh,
there's
there's a ladder
There we
now.
go.
It's hard playing a game with no audio because I'm like,
Yeah.
there's probably some guy going, the ladder is right behind you. I'm like,
Look at all this alien tech. Nice. So it's interesting that you say those things because, whoa,
Shoot him.
no, he's a friend.
just
That's weird.
just to kind of roll the analogy back, you can totally imagine somebody at Rockstar saying all that, and it's hard to imagine them as
Yeah.
like a Screw Attack, considering you guys are so
Yeah.
grassroots and always have been. But you know, people that work at Rockstar have families and have lives, and sure, they've made a shitload of money, but GTA 5 was also in development for like 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's profitable. I have no doubt in my mind.
No, totally.
But it's also like, well, you know, they worked really hard on that. They made one of the best games of all time. And they gave you an incredible amount of value for $60.
They didn't give it to you. You paid them
Sorry.
money.
The value proposition there is
to
ridiculous.
have the privilege.
Well, I'll tell you this much.
That's another way of looking at it.
I do think that the value attached to GTA is really good. Like, people have really given me a lot of slack because I feel that the Call of Duty games are tremendous value.
They really are. You can play them for an entire year for $60.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, there's season passes and all that. But.
Sure, but
Cup and ball too.
But you get there's so much attached to it.
Good point.
Multiplayer, zombies, single player, all that stuff. You know, I feel the same way about GTA. You know, it's a game that, for lack of a better term, just keeps on giving, right? You know, it's always there. So,
well, this is the whole reason why they're being so forward about the anti-modding thing. Like with GTA 4, there was no way to give them money to play online. Now they have the shark cards.
Yes.
They want you to give them money. They found a way to keep, to make essentially DLC free. And support it with these sort of microtransactions. They didn't have that GTA 4, so they weren't really going after the mod. They weren't as strict with mods as they were before. So now you're seeing that, but it's because it's business. They're operating as a business right now. So that's kind of how it is.
So, real quick, catch me up. Is this something that's recent, like in the last day or so?
It's been evolving. The bans going out for single player mods is somewhat recent. That's within the last half week or so.
Okay, but their terms of service and their agreement has been the same since like 2013, right?
Yeah. Yes. You're right. The last time it was modified, at least publicly posted on the site, was October 2013. I'm not sure what that modification was. I tried doing the Wayback Machine on it, but apparently that particular page is blocked from Google crawling, so there is no cached version of that website.
Weird.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense.
Conspiracy.
Not really.
Conspiracy.
So just so you guys know, it's not a conspiracy. It's common for webmasters to block certain pages from Google search because if somebody Google searches Rockstar, you don't want the first result to be the EULA page. You want it to be the home screen or something like that. So, it's not a, Gamergaters, just chill out.
What?
Yeah, people are going to hate on me for that. But, it's basically, that's very boilerplate. Every company has that kind of speech, which is that you cannot try to disassemble and reconstruct what we made and then like modify it, add to it. In as much as it is they're trying to preserve their content, it could also be an image thing. Say somebody who's never heard of GTA goes on YouTube, and granted that's a small, hard to do at this point, but somebody never found GTA, they punch GTA 5. Let's say they just click on a mods video because they don't know what mods are, and they see a pony having sex with a human being. And they're like, what the fuck, this is GTA? This is horrible. And yes, very unlikely, but this is what companies have to consider. How is your product and your brand represented to the world?
Can you stab him with those pipes, please?
I think that's part of it.
I think I have
to do a power
have
surge
to take
or
his,
something.
You gotta take his power.
So let's take a brief aside from all this murder and stabbing people in the necks to talk about your sweet mom, your sweet, sweet mother. May 10th is coming up, and that's Mother's Day.
Oh, shit.
And and your mom would love to know that you still care about her.
Or wife.
Or wife, yes.
I gotta text my mom.
Text your mom. But one way to do that, we have a special promo code for you, is Sherry's Berries. If you're unfamiliar, Sherry's Berries is a delivery service that sends chocolate-covered strawberries, and they're fucking awesome.
Yeah, they're real good.
They're gargantuan, so thank you, genetically modified fruits. Actually, they could be organic, I don't know, but they're massive, I love it. Covered in a variety of different chocolates, like salted caramel, dark chocolate. Ladies love dark chocolate, so that's good.
I love dark chocolate.
And
ladies love dark chocolate?
Ladies and James. But we have a specialty code for our listeners only. Sherry's Berries is offering giant freshly dipped strawberries starting at $19.99, which is a 40% savings. Let's see, the box we had, let's see here, 12. And that doesn't sound like a lot, except each one of them is like a palm
They're
full.
huge, yeah.
I ate one, and I was hungry, and I wasn't hungry when I was done because they stick to you. Good job, Adam.
Nah.
So if you go to berries.com, berries.com, click on the little microphone in the upper right, that's where you enter promo codes, and enter our code, which is Dude Soup. So DUDE space SOUP. You can get your promo code and let your mom know you love her. Also, the links for our sponsors are down in the comments. So if you were looking for something to get your mom or your wife, significant
yourself.
other, or maybe a sweet little lady you've had your eye on.
Or yourself.
Or yourself, sure.
Maybe you're the sweet little lady and you're craving some berries.
Just imagine James Shirtless rubbing a berry on his chest. Like,
You want
I'm
this,
the sweetest lady to me now.
Fan art right there.
So yeah.
Yep.
So one last time, berries.com, BERRIES.com. Use our code DUDESOUP and let someone know that you care, even if it's yourself. And, that shows your support of us, and we appreciate that. So thank you, Sherry's, for sponsoring us, and thank you, listener, for your support. Okay, so let's go back to mods.
You guys do such a good job with your integrations. That's
Thank
so
you.
good.
Real quick too. Also, we briefly went over this on the No episode, and people may have missed it. There was a part where we said, there are other ways, and we're not going to say what that is. Like Bruce kind of mutters it real quick. But all I know is I kind of keep up on the GTA subreddit and the GTA modding and all that stuff. People are making dedicated servers and stuff like that.
Yes, it's already happening.
So people are going to find a way. So essentially,
Nature finds a way.
Well, what I'm saying, I mean, it's the
Man, that's cool.
yeah, it's really fucking cool.
I don't know why anyone was ever scared. Modders find a way. Like there are image memes around it.
Yeah, big. Make
come on, man.
make a
What
wall.
would you
They'll
do?
build a ladder. I don't know. I can't. These guys are either the smartest things in the world or
No, you were
stupid.
No,
right
you
at
walked
him.
right
You're
in front of
staring
him,
right
and then he
at
pointed
him.
his
He's
gun
looking
at
at
you.
you.
Hello.
All you have to do is wait for him to turn around.
I'm an instigator.
He's on a literal track.
Run.
Well,
Go.
No.
No, it's fine.
You just got to sit there and hope he forgets
boy.
that he ever saw you.
I think
And
that's
he
what
might.
happens.
Turn the pipe on yourself.
Look at him.
That'll do it.
Hello.
It's a different rail.
The other guy just
Oh.
wakes up.
I love.
Here we go.
I love shooters. Hey guys, ooh, look at
So
that
it's Rockstar's moves here are very interesting because I get it from their perspective. They basically don't want a well of content out there for people to enjoy. They want to make it so when they release a new DLC like heists, it brings people back into online in droves, and you can kind of tell the little things that they've tweaked over the year since GTA Online has been out has all been centered around getting people in online and giving them things to do. So they added those new what were they? They're like the events you can do. You were talking about them, Adam.
They
Like
added
when we
like
have to chase down a plane.
Oh, adversary mode
That's
and
it.
they just keep adding to
and
the
like
world.
daily objectives now.
I mean, honestly, the way GTA Online was when it first started and what it is now, and I'm talking, we've switched platforms twice
Stop
now.
him alive.
Kill
Stab
that
him,
dog.
Stab him.
Oh, doggy,
Oh,
no.
puppy.
Sorry, little guy. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I love you.
Oh, dog, dude,
But I give Rockstar a lot of credit. At least they've made good on that by adding content. I mean, the pace of content has been maybe a little slow for my taste, but Heist made it more than worth it.
It's way more than GTA 4. That's where I always go for. I'm
they
like,
walked away from GTA.
I'm like, it's 10,000% more than GTA 4 ever had.
At least we're having, not we specifically, but at least we are having this battle with a game company that, if they don't ever release anything again, you have still left you with a really solid game. You know? It's not like this game is incomplete. It's bare bones. It wasn't worth my $60. If I could mod it, it might be. But
Oh my God.
Come on, man.
I think we are in a pretty good situation here where we weren't promised mods. If we don't get mods, it'll kind of suck. It'll kind of be frustrating. We can always go back to Skyrim, but if we do get mods, holy shit, that's awesome. In the meantime, we just have to enjoy the game we have.
Yeah.
And
that's fine.
It's a really good game and an easy one to enjoy.
There are probably people out there who have since it came out on PC, have 100%ed it, have done all the heists on hard and first person, never dying. There's probably a few people out there that have done that. But I suspect the people who are really loud about mods haven't. And, even when I say that, I realize it's beside the point. They just see toys and they want to play with them, and that's fine. That's great. It's just,
Also, just remember, the last time people were really loud like this in the games industry, we made it so that way people can get paid for mods. So it's not like
bad.
It's not like people are losing their livelihood over this either, So I don't know.
Yeah, it's
mods are
interesting
good.
because the solution to this, and James, you were hinting at this a while ago, is to find some way for Rockstar to enjoy the benefits of the mod scene.
Yeah.
And the most direct way to do that is to have
Ecstasy.
paid mods.
Oh.
Ecstasy, yes.
See, but then
Yeah.
here's the thing, right? If they allow these mods and then they have some sort of monetization of it, right? Then they'll come off as greedy, and the internet will just come off as, and they'll be like, well, Rockstar's being greedy. We created this. It's one of the, I don't know. I think they're really in a no-win situation.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think most game developers in this climate of the gaming industry are all kind of in a no-win situation. That's not true. That's not true. They make a shit ton of money.
So Gearbox did a thing a long time ago with Halo on PC, and they called it Custom Edition, which was really annoying because it's called Combat Evolved. So the
CE.
the acronym was all screwed up anyway. But regardless, it would
job.
be, I think, the best option. This is a wild card. But if Rockstar made a moddable version, basically, where they're like, okay, it's on a different server. You have to host your own server. You got to do this whole thing. You can pay for it. And, I mean, that could open it up to actually making,
But then
having
people are
sell
upset
mods.
that they already bought the game once and now they have to buy it again.
So-
I'm okay.
I can see that. So say they
For us,
release
it'd be worth it.
A $20
Oh, yeah.
version of the game. It doesn't have single player, it doesn't have online, but it does have mod tools. And then every
Well,
time
I would say it only has online, or it has like a gutted,
yeah,
it has
yeah.
like a gutted single player,
yeah.
and it's
then,
like a $30 game.
and then say like,
How about that?
well, so I would say theoretically, every time they push out a new content patch in online, like they add new cars or whatever, they could push that in the moddable version too, maybe charge for an update, but people would just rip it out of the game and port it over. So it's really a case of once people get stuff for free, they never ever want to pay for it.
I mean, also the idea I came up with is ludicrous, and they'll never go through with it. But like, I could dream. I don't
Like the
know.
rapper.
What? I don't.
All right, our next topic.
I don't know. Hi, Bruce.
Hey, Bruce. Our next topic of discussion. Does anybody have any other lingering thoughts about mods that want to get out there?
I like mods.
Yeah, man. Me
I
too.
like mods
Mods are
too.
good.
I say, and people brought this up to me. I typically am counter internet in a lot of situations. I have an extensive history with mods. I love them. I played like Quake 1 and 2. I played for 4 years because of mods, and the mod scene actually gave birth to some of the best game types. Like Rocket Arena then became the standard for competitive Quake, and then that was basically Quake 3. And I mean, that's maybe theoretically one way developers can benefit from the mod scene is by paying attention to the good ideas that come out of it and then turning them into games.
Totally.
And it's something I believe very firmly in, but I also believe, devs have got to make money. And volume helps. GTA is one of the games that benefits from that, but most devs, charging $60 for a game is not enough anymore. Because games have been $60 for the last 20 years.
That's the
Yeah.
one thing that I think a lot of people really lose track of is people are like, oh, games are cheaper than they've ever been, ever.
Yeah.
Right? The games on the Super Nintendo, they were $80 games, and that was in 1991, 92, 93.
Yeah.
Like
Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, Super Metroid was $80 when it came out. Right? The $60 price tag has been the standard for such a long time that it's literally devaluing the game. Like the fact that indies can release games that are $5, right?
absurd.
It's ridiculous. $5, $10, $15. Like the value that you get in these games far surpasses the $60 game you'd get. You get a $50 game on the Nintendo, on the old NES, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Like a shitty platformer that had 5 levels, and if you were
Awesome.
good, you can beat it in 30 minutes.
Some
Yeah.
guy on Reddit would argue with it. But
They
no,
would.
you mean someone on the internet would disagree?
Yeah, weird.
They always
Oh,
do.
gosh.
But there's like so many different factors now with like
Yeah.
different forms of marketing and PR agencies and just like
Right,
they
it's more
have
complicated.
engineers now and artists on a video game, whereas that used to be the same guy.
Yeah.
So like it is crazy. Like I actually one day this is what a real journalist should do because we're not journalists.
No.
They need to go to school. They need to learn. They need to learn game design. They need to get a job at EA or something like that, and then get access to all these documents of all these things, and then leak it. That's how you do it. That's what real people
Like
do.
a Snowden for the games
Yeah, there
industry.
you go.
Hey, people want it.
Yeah, getting a peek at like
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
the crazy thing is though, knowing the internet, they would choose not to believe it.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
It'd be crazy. It'd be like
It'd be nice. It's always nice to hear the stories of the devs who or the smaller teams, the indie teams, where they get a game kickstarted for a few $100,000. It's on sale for 12 hours, and they're like, we are already profitable.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
did it.
those are
And
nice.
Shovel Knight.
Yeah, Shovel Knight is a
great
great
example.
story, and I think it's.
But then
at
we
least-
just heard today that like Hardline is successful, but
Yeah.
the internet hates it, and it did well somehow.
It's just nice to know that it's AAA consoles no longer the only way to make money. You can have a 5-man team make a game like Shovel Knight, and then have enough to go on and make your next thing. So it's not the end of gaming. If Rockstar is stopping mods.
Speaking of the end of gaming, total side note.
Yeah.
Last night I saw the documentary on the E.T. burial ground.
Oh,
Have you guys
cool.
seen that yet?
Oh, I've seen
Game
a few
Over?
that reference it a
Is
lot.
it called Game Over?
It's the one on Showtime. I think
Oh,
it was.
okay.
Showtime or HBO.
I think it's called The Wizard.
Don't you talk bad about the Wizard.
I didn't talk
It's a
bad about the
documentary,
Wizard.
and the events
Why,
happened
why are you
in
so
real
defensive
time.
about the Wizard?
Because
I brought it up. You're like, don't say anything bad.
don't
All
you
I
talk
said
about
was the
it.
Wizard.
How did they know that the whistle was there if this is the first time anyone's seen the game?
It's kind of
That's not
bullshit.
something you just
How-
know from game
And
knowledge.
you don't know you get great points for that either. And how
Ugh.
do you get 50,000 points from Double Dragon? I'm just saying.
I don't
Also,
know.
Nintendo didn't actually make the Power Glove. That was made by like I don't know.
What were you gonna say?
Oh,
the
boy.
Disco.
I was just gonna say, like, we were talking about small teams doing big things, and the documentary really focused in on Scott Warshaw, the guy who did the I think that's his full name, the guy who actually developed ET. But he's the guy who kind of gets the blame for the video game crash of '83 because of ET and such.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it really
It wasn't him.
No, it wasn't. It was
It was a
number
lot of factors.
Exactly right, but
Saturation.
But people like
Weren't
black
they
and
like,
white
you have
stars.
2 weeks to make this game?
he had 5 weeks to make
Oh,
it.
okay,
But this
yeah.
is the guy, every single game he made had sold over 1 million copies. This is like in the late 70s, early 80s, right? And he did Yar's Revenge. He did all these like really, pretty big games on the Atari, and they suck now, but these were really groundbreaking games at the time, right?
Yeah.
And it was just fascinating because it was one man team. Like literally, the teams were these single guys just
Yeah.
making these games for Atari.
You mean
6,
they
7,
didn't
8
have
guys.
girlfriends?
And
I'm
also
just
like kept
kidding.
in
They didn't.
seclusion
That
so
was
they wouldn't get
stupid.
poached, and it's crazy.
It was nuts, but
It was almost exploitative back then.
oh yeah, it was pretty, but they made it sound like
So
it was
different
a rock
now.
star thing. And
We were kings, man.
So it's pretty amazing stuff. But I don't know, just thinking about small teams doing big things. That's the first thing I thought of was Atari.
Well, the more things change, the more they stay the same. People like to think that gaming like matures and has progressed and has evolved. It really hasn't. It's just there's just more money in it now. And sure, some of the styles have changed and people have figured certain things out about best practices. But it's kind of the same with movies. Like action sequences for movies in the 60s are kind of shit just because they didn't really get cinematography or they couldn't move the cameras the way they needed to because they were so big. So tech enables certain things. It opens up certain things, but that doesn't mean that the art form has gotten better, nor does that mean that the production has gotten better. It's just changed. So
You tell me you don't like Batman fight scenes?
I do
Was that on the
for
list?
different reasons.
Oh, no.
no, that Batman. Never mind. I thought we were talking
Got
Batman
a bomb.
Forever. Always Batman
Oh,
Forever. Best Batman.
Batman Forever?
Yeah.
Was there a fight scene in that movie?
Speaking of fight scenes, we all saw Age of Ultron, and boy, do we have opinions about it. Too bad we already
So-
said them.
So, Craig hasn't seen it.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
it yet. I'm seeing
You're
it.
gonna see it.
I'm literally going to
Yeah.
see it after we're done here. So
Do you-
You might not have to.
We can just tell you the whole story. We'll save you $15 right now.
Is it good? Let's just start
It depends
there.
what you want.
Yes, it's
All right,
a good
let's
movie.
I guess I guess we could start off with our spoiler-free
Yeah,
talk of it real quick.
Start spoiler free, and then I'll back out for a few minutes.
Okay.
'Cause I do want to see it. I do want to enjoy it. And I hate when, like, I'm the guy who likes to turn off his brain when I go into movies.
Oh, sure.
And there's a
Well,
lot of guys on our team who
And
are
this
like,
is the perfect movie for you.
okay, perfect. Then I'll love it. Then I'll love it.
Yeah.
I've been pretty vocal about how not blown away I was by the first Avengers.
Uh-huh.
Like some people thought it was like the shit, and
I
they loved it, and they bought it on Blu-ray 100 times and everything. They saw it 1,000 times in theaters.
I only bought it twice.
I saw it, and I was like, that was really good at the end
Yeah.
when it became the Avengers, right? But I was like, the rest of it was kind of boring leading up to it. I don't care about like the stuff behind Shield and all of the. They had a lot of excuse fights where it's like
Yeah, it's been
like
10 minutes. We need to do something.
it's basically like Thor's like, "What are you doing with my rock?" And they're like, "I didn't mean to," and then they start fighting, and I'm like, that to me isn't cool. Avengers 2 doesn't have any of that for me.
Yeah.
And I've only seen it the once, but I thought it was great. It was exactly what I wanted because from the beginning, it hits the ground running and it is Avengers, the team that you want to see all fighting together in crazy spectacle scenes and stuff like that. Like I've been ranting to them a lot recently about how comic book movies have become this thing. They're so popular now, but they're not like the stories that we're pulling from aren't necessarily good. We just hold them in a higher regard than we did like in the 80s when we made a Punisher movie starring Dolph Lundgren, who I love.
Yes.
Man, I wish I could interview that guy.
But
Just touch him.
Someday.
but like movies have gotten better, but like the stories are still just nerdy kid gets superpowers, fights bullies, only bullies now have the skin of a
Robot
rhino.
lips.
You know, like yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So like
well-
it's not amazing. They're not the most amazing stories in the world.
We're also getting to the point now where, I mean, I'm sure everyone says this, like when Independence Day came out, they said, finally, CGI is the best it'll ever be. And then you watch it now, you're like, this looks like garbage.
Yeah.
Also, Independence Day is a horrible movie.
I will say that there are some scenes in Avengers where I'm like, cut a few corners on that CG there.
Yeah.
I can shut my brain
Maybe
off,
just one,
but
maybe
like when the Hulk is fighting Iron Man, spoiler, I guess.
It's in the trailer.
It's in the trailer.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I'm at the point where I can turn my brain off enough and there's enough explosions that ILM put in there that cover up all the little inaccuracies, and I'm just like, this is so awesome. Like, it's a perfect mix of cartoon and live action that I'm like, I'm just aware that I'm watching, essentially right now, it's a cartoon with real life backdrops. I'm like, I'm okay with that.
That's
a really good way to
I
think
think
about
this
it.
is the best way I can possibly summarize it. I think Stan Lee is great, right? I think Stan Lee has had a ton of
Murder
ideas.
Stan Lee.
He had a ton of ideas, but he kind of had all those ideas when no one else was even trying to think of ideas, right? So he was kind of ahead of the curve in that sense. I think Jack Kirby is a genius, right? Like the designs, the colors, and everything that he put into the heroes that he also totally helped create. Like, I think this movie is Jack Kirby. And a lot of other movies are Stan Lee, where they're like, let's focus on the character and all kinds of stuff. This is Jack Kirby. They're like, these are bright, colorful heroes that can do amazing things that we've never seen before. Let's show it off.
So, as somebody who has just watched Twitter and the internet and the news about Joss Whedon,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
is there anything to that? Because he
A little
apparently
bit.
got I don't know, something about Black Widow.
Yeah. So that's spoiler territory. I can bottom line it because it is one of the less important parts of the movie.
Just real high level.
Okay, so high level, it kind of deals with this. I'm trying to choose my words very carefully here. Deals with. So people that track those sorts of things and get very passionate about them are largely concerned with the representation of women in media. And that revolves around tropes, because the way that women handle media is pretty tropey. We're probably gonna have to play Wolfenstein. Yes. This was like this is really hard, by the way.
Yeah,
At least
yeah.
it was.
I beat it.
So one of the
amazing.
particular tropes that people that get passionate about these sorts of issues is really upset about is women being damseled. So women basically being turned into a reward for male characters that have to rescue them. There is a point at which Black Widow gets captured. But she doesn't just sit in a tower and wait for a man to rescue her. That's not really how her character or arc plays out. So the movie does technically employ that sort of trope, but it doesn't follow through on it in the way that it normally does. And also, that's just not what it means. In context, it doesn't mean that.
Might I add one important point that is spoiler-free? She was doing something very important that
She
got
was.
her captured.
Yes.
Yeah.
Normally in female tropes,
They just sit
they're
and
just
get
standing
twisted
around
around.
and they get
Yeah.
captured.
Yeah.
This isn't Double Dragon like you mentioned earlier, where she's standing there, gets punched in the stomach, thrown over the
Yeah.
shoulder, and they're like,
Yeah.
"We gotta save her."
And then
So-
the other, there's one more part to
Sure.
it very quickly, and I'll try to be as spoiler free about this as I can. But essentially, and you may have seen this in the trailers. Basically, through the process of empathizing with another character, Black Widow reveals something about herself, and she calls herself a monster because of it. And then that set a lot of people off as well, saying no, she's badass and she shouldn't care about that, or something. Basically, a lot of
Yeah.
people want Black Widow to be something.
It's a situation where I think you can read in whatever you want. It's vague. The movie doesn't take a stance on it.
It's nuanced is the problem.
Yeah. Oh, that's vague. I guess isn't the right word, but it is. You could totally walk out of that movie and go, "Oh my God, I can't believe that's how they feel about this, or that's what they think of these types of people, or something." But it doesn't really hold any water if you have any sort of mindset that isn't
not right.
that mindset that fits that exact kind of
Yes.
thing. So it's really. It's an over. I think it's a hypersensitivity. I don't think that it really hurts her character.
It has to be exhausting being that mad all the time,
Yeah.
or finding something to be mad at.
Or just being on the prowl. What
I
can I
don't
be
know.
mad at?
I mean,
today?
the way we walked away from it, at least Lawrence and I were talking about it earlier, but it's like, I see it as a comic book movie made for kids, and that, going to Watchmen, which is probably the most adult superhero movie or comic book you could watch or read, where it's they have the rape situation that they put in the movie, where it's sort of these are people at their peak physical fitness level, and they're just in these high stress situations, and this sort of stuff would probably happen in real life, and it was it's really dark and it's moody. Avengers it's lighthearted, and you're but they still have that kind of dark element of well, these characters are all kind of monsters, and they rely on each other for friendship and sort of compassion because there's no one else in the world for them. And Black Widow is the most outcasted character in a way. They kind of go into that later. But the fact that she found someone who she can like connect through, and it's a giant green monster, I was like, this is kind of Beauty and the Beast, but reverse. Like, I kind of like it. Sorry,
that's
I'm
okay.
getting told too spoiler.
I read that.
That much
online.
was in the trailer.
I think it's a situation where some people. So Black Widow has been in how many movies at this point? She's been in Winter Soldier, Avengers, Iron Man 2,
Yeah.
right? So she was in 3 movies up to this point. You knew literally nothing about her
Yeah.
except that she wore tight clothes and she beat up on dudes all the time, right? This movie tried to add something to her
Yeah.
and give you an indication about what she's been through and how she feels about herself for all those things and more. And now people are upset about that because that's not how they wanted her to feel, basically.
Well, you wonder if this is one of those. I feel like we've brought this up many times today, and you could bring it up every single time there's something online that people don't like. But it's just, is it that vocal minority that's just like, meh?
Maybe. I think
maybe.
the vocal minority is converting into a mob, and I'm not saying that that's exactly what happened here. I intentionally stayed a little ignorant of the situation because I'm tired of seeing this cycle happen again and again.
Sure.
But it definitely does seem like, instead, it seems like this is the new religion of the internet. You adopt a term, you adopt the marching orders of that thought, and then when a thought leader says attack, everyone deploys in force. So if somebody who is respected as maybe I hate to use terms because it lumps people together and people hate that, but say like a feminist said, this is bad, go attack Joss Whedon for this, everybody be like, got it, because they don't want to like examine it for themselves or think it through themselves. And I'm not saying if you're mad you didn't do that. I'm just saying there were a lot of people with a lot of blind hatred on the internet, and that at least was obvious.
So,
Either way, the movie's great.
Yeah, I don't think this should factor into.
No.
I'll
Movie
let
aside.
you guys do your thing here, and I'll if you guys just want to wave at me whenever you want me to come back in, or if you want me to come in at all.
Well, yeah, we're rolling up on it, so.
Real quick, can we just examine the term trope really quick?
Sure.
Doesn't the term, like, the way it's used, doesn't it essentially just mean stereotype?
It's so you know what? I'm glad you asked. Let's get to the real bottom of it. I'll go ahead and look it up.
Glad I asked that, because...
Yeah, a lot of people throw that term around.
They go, well, it's a trope for a character.
I think trope is a term that contains the term stereotype within it.
The literal definition of trope as a noun is a figurative or metaphorical use of a word or expression. So stereotype is not inherently implied there. Let's see here. It basically means you use one thing to represent another thing. So if you are like a use of trope is that a woman is a damsel in distress.
Yeah.
That is an example of a trope.
Yeah.
But women being a damsel it is a trope into itself, but that doesn't imply that it's overused. But when you're talking about maybe the use of tropes with women, you're saying how are they used in story? What do they represent? And more often than not, they represent objects that men fight over. That's what that.
I thought Black Widow was badass.
Black
That's
Widow
what she
is
said.
badass. She's like snapping necks, and the problem is that specific trope. The issue with that is a woman's lack of agency and the fact that she's reduced to an object. But this is a movie where she's running around snapping necks. She expresses a lot of independence,
Yeah.
a lot of decision making.
I was saying between her and Hawkeye, they're the two without any actual powers, and they're kind of holding their own on this team.
No.
I was like, fucking good for them. That's
And
cool.
That's one of the few themes of the movie.
If we can get back to
Yeah, let's talk about
Avengers 2
robots.
being awesome, let me also say without spoiler that they do make Hawkeye cool,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is
you thought
an
so?
achievement. I thought so totally.
Okay.
I was-
Compared to the first one, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he's always been kind of lame. Can you use the sink?
Wait, turn around. There was a black spot on the wall. Turn around.
Can
need
you
to
use
turn-
the sink?
You need to turn around. No, you can't. Turn
Is there a
around.
bullet hole?
There. Go there. The dark spot on the
Oh.
wall. Hit use on it. It's probably nothing, but nope, it's nothing.
I'll
Right.
tell you, I'm going to back out so you guys can continue your
Okay.
thing.
Well, actually, we've got to do an ad
Okay.
read, or we get to do an ad read. So this episode is also brought to you by NatureBox. If you followed us for a while, you're probably familiar with NatureBox. They are a subscription service that will send you a box a month filled with delicious bags of treats, snacks. The big deal about NatureBox is they are all natural, so no preservatives, no corn syrup. It's just all actual ingredients. It's one of those cool things. If you look at the ingredients list, it's like cashews, coconut, sugar. That's it. Neat. So, it's a way to replace maybe chips or soda with something that is a little more nutritious. And as I've learned in my voyages in nutrition, if you eat real food, you won't get hungry and you end up eating less. Because your body is actually getting what it needs to stay alive. So let's see. And one of the other cool things I love about NatureBox is when you sign up, you can fill out this profile of the kinds of foods you like. whether it's like crunchy, sweet, or even nutritionally. You can say I want low carbohydrate, I want low calorie, high protein, and then you can either specifically pick snacks or just let them surprise you with a number of snacks that fit your criteria. So it's just nice to come home once a month and have delicious snacks right there. Good God, are they addictive? You guys have all tried it. Well, maybe not Craig.
I have not, but it sounds really great. I was gonna say you look great, man.
Oh, thank you.
Say you look like you lost some weight.
Yeah, I'm working on it. It's a process.
Well, and you always look great. I was just
Yeah, James is impeccable.
I'm bulking.
the Adam. I don't know.
Nah,
But-
I'm just here.
You just see that. How's the back of his head look?
Yeah.
He's in some weight back
Bony.
there.
Been doing some good
But
stretches.
we have flavors like Asiago cheddar and cheese crisps, pistachio power clusters, and Big Island pineapple.
We had that one. It was really good.
We had all
Chazzle
those.
Whizzle So try NatureBox for free by going to naturebox.com/dudesoup. naturebox.com/dudesoup. DUDESOUP. And if you don't like spelling it out, just look down in the description. You'll find a handy link right there that'll take you right to the page. You get our special promo, which in the past has been a free sampler pack.
I was gonna say you get free food.
I think so.
Like-
You used to have to pay for shipping. I'm honestly not sure if that's the case this time because it wasn't in the ad read, but we'll check it out.
Well, so
Unless you know next
that's
time.
amazing. Like people stick out, like they'll go to carnivals and wait like 30 minutes to get a free hamburger. Like, and you're just saying go sign
Yeah,
up and you get
go
a
to the
free
internet.
thing, and it just magically comes to you in the mail. That sounds
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
It's a little sampler pack of their most popular snacks, and they are at least confident that after you try it, you will subscribe. I've been a subscriber ever since we got our first sampler. So, yet again, that's naturebox.com/dudesoup, and the link is in the description. So. Check it out if you like food, and thank you for the sponsorship, NatureBox. We appreciate it.
Much appreciated.
Okay, so now I guess we can get into our heavy
right.
spoiler-filled
I'll
discussion.
back out. Thank you guys for having me on.
Have
here.
fun.
Absolutely.
It was
Thanks for
fun.
coming.
Bruce, I thank you for letting me take your spot.
Of course.
I appreciate
Crazy,
it.
Come on.
Super fun. I just watching you play this. Adam,
getting hot
been-
here.
been
It's such a good game. I love
Yeah.
Wolfenstein.
Cool. All right, thanks guys. Appreciate it. And go to Screw Attack and subscribe to our
Yeah,
channel.
go to Screw
Yep.
Attack.
You can follow me on Twitter, Stuttering Craig. It'll be good. So, all
Come
right.
on.
Boom.
I talk and stuff.
Enjoy the movie.
Okay.
All right. So yeah,
Later, man.
yeah,
Enjoy the movie.
if you guys want to get dinner or something, let me know. Just text me.
Okay.
Good idea.
We can eat healthy. We can all eat healthy together.
We don't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you, Craig.
Well, see you later.
Later,
See you
Nick.
guys.
All right, Bruce, get in here.
Oh,
Yeah,
what,
Bruce.
are we talking
We're gonna
about?
Avengers
Ultron.
because you saw it twice.
What did you see that we didn't? What did you learn the second
Um,
time?
I liked the movie. Okay, so here's the thing about
All
me,
right.
about Bruce. When I like a movie the second time, I am a lot more willing to stand behind it. So there are movies that I saw a bunch of times in a row, like Man of Steel. I saw 4 times in theaters.
Wow.
And the more that I saw it, the more I didn't like it. The more I just couldn't, because the plot points became a little more glaring. Avengers, the second time I saw it, and I'm looking forward to seeing it the third time. The second time I saw it, it was a better film, and I was able to be excited about the fight scenes that were coming up, like the Hulk Iron Man scene, which in my opinion is the best fight scene in the whole movie.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And like the movie, it hits you so hard at the beginning with that fucking awesome. This is like the epitome of a comic book fight scene.
Yeah.
At the beginning of that movie, where they're just destroying henchmen.
The movie begins with a splash page. That's what I love
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it. Like
yeah,
I was
right.
saying, how this movie is basically
Yeah.
the illustrations of a comic book, as opposed to all the words and the bubbles. Like it begins with a splash page.
Absolutely.
And when I first saw it, like looking back on it, I'm like, man, that was awesome. When I first watched it, I was like, uh-oh, a little corny. But then they totally buy you into it because they don't sell themselves short. They deliver on the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Man.
And also, all of it should be prefaced with, I'm a Joss Whedon fan and have been for a very long time. So if you don't like Joss Whedon writing, you probably won't like this film.
I don't like Joss
Oh,
Whedon
really?
writing.
Okay.
I'm not a Joss Whedon fan.
That's good.
And
That's
and
good.
I don't normally like his writing. But his eyes. I don't normally like his writing, but it didn't bother me. I acknowledged there were points where I was like, this is one step above CSI,
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah. Absolutely,
CSI level
absolutely, yeah.
writing. They're like, we need to do the access codes and bypass the
Yeah.
mumble bards
Well,
or whatever.
So on that note, my favorite part is when Iron Man hacked the whole internet.
he hacked the whole internet. Like
That's
there's
right.
there's
He goes to the
ridiculous
middle of the
stuff.
internet and
Yeah.
hacks a little laptop, and in the middle of like all the internet comes to this
Yeah.
machine.
There's-
I'm gonna hack Ultron.
There's ridiculous stuff that happens, but the downtime is so short.
Yeah.
Like I understand
Yeah.
it. He's like, people will get tired. It'll cost too much money. It won't be good because like, you know how I feel about the Transformers movies. The less people utter, the better the
more
movies get.
more big robots fighting, the better.
But like we've said, at a certain point it gets exhausting,
It does.
and it shouldn't be 2.5 hours of that, because that is just
Transformers was
tiring.
like 6 movies.
Yeah.
It's really, really, really tiring.
It was
I
really
can appreciate it, but it is exhausting. This has really nice paced, little downtime,
Yeah.
cheesy dialogue, people being buds, not stupid, dumb, unnecessary conflicts, right? Everything kind of pushes the plot forward, even if it is silly. There's one scene where they could have dragged it out, and it goes montage time,
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
like, and they burn right through it.
Which one was the montage?
That's when they start working on Ultron, and it's just one camera
Yeah,
shot
that's right,
of
that's right,
everything
that's right.
going around. It's just like montage,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so, like,
But
they.
it's funny because you were saying something about Avengers 1,
Good job.
how you're like they would just fight for no reason or something like that. I thought Avengers 1 was so well paced where it's like any minute starts to lull a bit, like action scene. I was like, yay! That's how I felt
Well,
about Avengers 2 as well. I was
Except
like,
for me,
felt
Avengers took an hour and 15 minutes to get to that pace.
okay.
It,
what-
it begins with Nick Fury running from an earthquake, and that's not. You should tap the button.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I
what
forgot about
James
that.
Stab fight.
What James is saying is like, because this has always been my complaint, my major complaint with a lot of Marvel films is that the payoff at the end of the film doesn't necessarily pay off the whole film, and like that's why I liked the Incredible Hulk, but I don't think anybody else did. Is that
I like
like
that.
that
Yeah,
one.
Oh,
The
good.
Norton
Okay,
one?
good. Well,
Yeah.
the giant Hulk versus Abomination fight scene at the end pays off that whole movie.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And it's only an hour and a half. Like, really, it's a short film. And the movie itself is pretty boring,
Oh, boy.
but that fight scene's fucking awesome. And Avengers has got those fight scenes like every,
Oh, boy.
30 minutes or so?
Yeah, yeah.
I want to say?
Oh,
Oh.
No,
He's
yeah,
like,
I totally agree. Yeah, because also somehow the Avengers, man, every single Marvel movie basically. Every single Iron Man movie, especially, just ends with Iron Man fighting other versions of himself. Like, he only ever fights Iron dudes.
well, it's the nemesis problem, like quote unquote problem. It's pretty much present in every comic book movie or any hero story for that
And-
matter. They end up
and-
fighting themselves.
And they do that again.
And they
right?
even literalize that, and there's a line in there where there's like, yeah, we always end up creating the thing we hate.
They
And he's like acknowledging, yes, this is just the thing, you gotta deal with it.
and that happens again in this movie, but the villain is probably the best Marvel villain.
Yeah,
like
yeah, I
the
don't know if
villain
we
of this
touched on that
movie.
yet, James
we
Spader.
haven't
Okay, yeah.
talked about James Spader at all.
Yeah.
He's probably the best villain in all of the Marvel films.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think.
I would agree.
And
There's
most of
only,
them
like,
are
3 scenes that really sell it too, which is pretty cool.
yeah.
Well,
But they're all done so perfectly.
His dialogue's written really well, and it's obvious that him and Joss Whedon worked together on this one. Meaning, like, he didn't just read lines.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
read them as either James Spader or
Yep.
Ultron.
Yes,
So-
yes, I totally agree. Like he is
I
a
even-
fantastic villain, and there's weird sympathy that you feel for a giant metal robot.
I was gonna say,
like-
I was arguing with you guys saying like I don't even think he's a villain, honestly. Like I
What?
thought he was.
He wanted to exterminate the human race.
Yeah, that's fine. But
What?
he believed it. Like it's sort of like the same way like if you've seen Kingsman, it's kind of the same way I felt about Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
Like it's like I like a villain who's not like I'm gonna blow up the world because
Because, right, yeah.
I like when they're like
Well,
no you're
That's kind of a commonly used excuse,
I mean,
though.
I don't know. I like that he thought what he was doing was right.
he's more nuanced than Mickey Rourke being angry.
That's fair,
Like
that's fair.
like, and it's kind
Miss
of
my bird.
it's kind of funny because
Bjork.
you have the twins, you have the
Bjork.
Maximoff twins,
Yeah.
that are those. Like they are the generic. We are just angry, and we're gonna take it out
They
on
had to
you
look at a
kind
bomb.
of thing.
They look at a bomb for 2 days.
So they
got
they
these
are
horrible
thus
accents.
made better
For
villains by
days.
being associated with such a charismatic villain as Ultron.
Right. Yeah. No, I totally. I think James Spader, in my opinion, like when I first heard him talk, I was like, "Holy shit! It's just James Spader. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not. This isn't a robot. Like I was expecting a James Spader
Yeah.
robot. Like I'm going to kill you.
yeah, I
but
thought it was going to be
not
like
at all like
a
that.
creepy, unemotionless, like and kind of like Terminator. And I
Well-
was like, okay, cool. The Avengers have to fight something cold, inhuman, and just bent on death. Like there's always one villain like that.
Well, in the trailers, the
But
first
I
trailer
didn't
that they
never
showed where he shows up and he's like, I don't have the
Yeah.
strings or whatever, he is kind of that generic robot-y thing.
Yeah.
But
But he
by the
was
end of that
basically
scene,
just born.
by the end of that scene, he becomes a actual thing that like there was a point in the movie where I was waiting for him to take out a top hat or a fedora
Like
and then put it
dance,
on,
yeah. Yeah, right?
and then do
He's
like
that
a little
kind of
thing
villain,
and then saunter out of the room. There's an amazing scene with Andy Serkis
Yeah.
in this where Ultron just becomes the best villain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I won't spoil what that is, even though if you're listening to this, man, you should just go out and see the movie
Yeah,
already. But
seriously.
but if you have seen it, you do know what I'm talking about. Like he is very funny and scary at the same time, which is exactly what you want.
He's a good example of a Bond villain, or at least the most
Ah,
recent
yeah.
Bond villains,
Yeah.
because like there have been Bond villains before where they're sort of charismatic and sort of creepy and sort of weird, but then also like you like listening to him talk, and all of a sudden they'll shoot a guy in the head.
Oh, yeah,
They'll just
yeah.
shoot a dude in the head just because, and be like, well, you know, I didn't like him or whatever.
Yeah.
It's something like that, and you're like, yes, he's funny, and he just shot a guy in the head, which is also that's unbelievably inhuman.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's both of those things at once, which
Yep.
which I appreciate.
Actually, I love the villain treatment because I'm reminded of Kingpin and Daredevil, the Netflix series. They do a great job of making you empathize with him as well, even
They
though
do.
he does terrible things. Seeing where he came from and just the way he acts and carries himself, you're like, I could listen to this guy talk.
Yeah.
He's just
Well,
he's
it's
got
D'Onofrio. That's why.
Yeah, well, it's
he's a good
amazingly
actor.
well acted, but also just like there's good villains have a certain magnetism about them, and that's why they're able to do what they do. And it's kind of like, it's shades of the same thing. Good presidents can talk well because they need to get people to follow them.
That's true.
Kind of the same thing with villains. Except he's a robot, so that's not so much a factor.
He's a robot though, but like at the same time, I don't know. It's like I never was once like that's a robot. I was always like he's the character Ultron.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of my favorite parts about Ultron was when he would make fun of people for not getting it. Like
yeah.
Iron Man was
Yeah.
like about to shoot him. He's like, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I was like, that's funny.
Yeah.
There are a couple of very smart moments, and like Joss Whedon is wont. The movie has like 4 or 5 just like brilliant, clever moments, but also in equal measure there's dialogue that's meant to appeal to people that maybe don't catch on to that stuff.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But I got the feeling, that it was written with an eye roll,
Yes.
which I'm totally
Well,
okay
there's
with.
there's like that perfect eye roll.
They're
scene in the
like,
movie.
we're just gonna put some words on a page while the VFX guys work on those storyboards that we just submitted, to get to the next scene. But yeah, so I feel like everything served a purpose in the movie, and I really really enjoyed it.
It's super enjoyable.
The only my biggest gripe, now that I've had some time away from it.
No Superman cameo.
Yeah, no
was
Superman
weird.
cameo. Could have used Nathan Fillion somewhere.
You had a problem with the Vision, right?
Well, okay, so it's funny because like James was saying, there was a splash page, and that should have been the cue that this is a comic book movie. But for some
And
reason,
it's
it still
called the
didn't click.
Avengers, and it starts
It's also
with a
called the Avengers. Oh,
Marvel
listen,
logo.
we're coming off of a whole line of movies that maybe took themselves a little more seriously, tried to deal with heavier themes.
Iron Man 3 ruined everything.
Well, there's that, but
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
But like maybe it's because we're talking about Batman so much, so I'm thinking about Dark Knight, but like or Daredevil for that matter actually works with some pretty heavy theme.
Yes.
But Age of Ultron is fairly theme free, and I'm okay with that. There's some nice personal themes there, which I've learned to appreciate a little more. But
I'll let you get to your thing. I just want to get this one part out.
right.
I tell you guys this now, but like, I think there is a new genre of movie, and it's basically just called theme park movie.
Yeah.
I don't go to Transformers to be entertained more than just to watch explosions. Like, for anyone to be upset about Marky Mark's dialogue, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're just there to watch stuff explode and just enjoy the spectacle of ILM's $200 million
Impress me.
budget. Like, that's really it. And Avengers is the perfect balance for me, where it's like I can do both. I can enjoy the dialogue and I can enjoy the spectacle. But at the same time, I don't expect anything more than to be entertained by eye candy. And I like that that's a genre now, that I
Yeah.
can enjoy movies like that.
I'm with Lawrence though. I mean, like I go to those movies not expecting The Dark Knight. I shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, eventually once I saw The Dark Knight, and then I saw other movies after that, like other Marvel movies, I was like, okay, well I get it. I think Marvel's this, and Nolan's movies are this. So I was like, but it was. I see what you're saying though. I understand, that makes sense to me.
Well, I
what
never
was the
actually
point?
finished my
What
point.
was the
Well,
point you were going to make?
I think I know where you're going with
Good point, Lawrence.
Well, so it's like the splash page should have tipped me off, and then when the Vision was revealed, it's like, wow, he's seriously just a comic book character. And I was like, okay, I'm adjusting my expectations now. I'm a little late, but I can do it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just at the end when the Vision is like, I saved humans because there's just something about them that's pretty. And I'm like, can we not do that anymore? Every sci-fi fantasy story has some advanced race that is infatuated with human beings because.
He doesn't say that. He says, I'm on the side of life. That's what he says. He says, I'm on the
I
side
guess
of life.
he assumes that the
No.
best progress will not be made through mass extinction.
Well, no, Ultron was like, they're doomed, and he was like, yeah, they are. But
Yeah,
there's
I
beauty, what does he say, there's grace in their failings or something like that?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a very, like, soft, like, they're human and they're special.
But he also, he says, I'm on the side of life, so he likes life, so that's why he's helping. And he does say yes, like, I'd rather be a part of something beautiful that goes away than not at all. So that's what he says.
I think it's like good God, bad God.
I guess
One
yeah,
god,
right.
one god slams the hammer. The other god says, "Here, take
I'll help you
fire
out."
and learn, and like let me do whatever." And so you know, I mean, I don't care. And like I said, I was totally down when the Vision showed up, and I was like, they basically just made a crazy, silly character. And then I was like, he belongs more in Guardians of the Galaxy than he does in this.
Yeah.
But it makes sense now because Guardians of the Galaxy is so far into the realm of like whateverness
Weird,
yeah.
that
It has no connection to
They
any of the
need
other
to start tying
Marvel
those
movies,
things
really.
together
Absolutely.
if they want to end the movie.
If they want a talking raccoon to show up and have it not
Yeah.
immediately be silly.
Also, no references
Well, it
to
can be
shawarma in the whole film.
It's fine.
A plus
good
for me.
Good for Joss Whedon.
A plus for me.
To your point, I am worried about the way Thanos is going to tie into the whole thing because he seems kind of ridiculous and he's got
Yeah.
this glove with gems on it, and I'm like,
That's how I felt about Guardians, though.
but,
and,
yeah, but
like,
they're slowly tying in, like
They are.
they're
They're
like,
converging.
very, very slowly getting you into, which I
Yeah.
appreciate. They're not just like hitting you over the head with this ridiculous gauntlet, you know.
It's going to get harder and harder to juggle.
I was also thinking, I was trying to think like, okay, now that they've introduced the Vision, like they've dropped that, you know, Dragon Ball Z Spirit Bomb basically, how do they one-up themselves? And theoretically, you just have the Vision fly off into space to be like, I have to go do
Yeah.
ineffable things that you can't comprehend because I'm a god and don't question my will.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he'll show up again when Thanos arrives and Thanos just kills him. Just to be like, that's how serious I am
I
right
see
now.
what you're saying,
They
yeah.
basically set up the Vision to be the halcyon of the end.
Yeah.
The cosmic god can kill our tiny little terrestrial god.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, and then it's,
those movies are still like 3 years away or 2
they
years
are,
away.
but and granted this is super long term, but once escalation, right? That's always a problem with like Dragon Ball. You get to where you've got characters that can exterminate planets by sneezing. At what point do you like make it human or interesting anymore?
I thought Avengers 2 kind of accomplished that pretty well because Avengers 1, in terms of scope, an alien invasion, I think, kind of beats a robot
You're
trying
right,
to drop a meteor
actually.
any day. That's why, I liked that Avengers 2, that kind of there wasn't a lot at stake. It was kind of like the Iron Man 2 of the Avengers, where it's like, yeah, you didn't really need to watch this, but it was
They're
cool
going
that
to
it was
kill
there.
all of these poor Eastern European people.
Yeah, so it's like it didn't really have much of an impact other than I read something online that the next movie is basically not going to have any of those heroes in it. That was the setup shot at the end of like Falcon and War Machine, and everyone was
right,
like,
yeah.
"These are the new Avengers," and like
yeah.
the rest of them are kind
box
of
office just
well, they're all kind of on break basically. They're kind of interesting. So it's like the next Avengers movie might be Hawkeye and War Machine, and then you have the Civil War movie, and then we'll get a Spider-Man and all that sort of stuff. But like, I think they're kind of swapping in teams, like
Yeah.
they're swapping characters in and out, and I like that because I was a little worried that I'm like I might get a little tired of Captain America and Thor's banter, and like I like it for what it is. I like that I had enough of it, but now maybe it's time for Falcon and War Machine to have their silly back and forth, and Scarlet Witch do whatever. I mean, her thing.
I've got good news. We made it to the end.
we did.
Boom.
Of a podcast.
I want to talk more about Avengers.
I know, but
though.
it's really hot in this room.
It's
Oh,
so
that's
hot.
true.
We should probably.
We didn't get to
gosh.
talk about my car and how someone spilled coffee on it.
Oh fuck!
Oh,
we
yeah.
didn't talk about
Oh,
your
man.
coffee car.
Can I tell you real
Really
quick?
toasty in here.
Well, we'll have to save
I'll
it
have
for
to save
our
it.
entertainment
Just like
branded
finger
coffee
spacing.
spilled
Finger
on car
wooding?
podcast.
Oh yeah, fingers. Whatever.
Adam, could you like park a little closer to the line every week so we always have something to talk about on the
man.
coffee cast?
Well, the thing is, the story's still ongoing, so hopefully we have something to
At
talk
what
about
point
later.
does passive aggressive become aggressive?
When they fucking spill
When-
coffee on my car.
I think aggressive is when you go up to him and say, "Hey fucker, don't park close to my spot."
That's fine.
Passive
Just
aggressive
Tell me
is,
my
I'm gonna
face.
wait coffee on your
Yeah,
window.
even that though requires less cleanup.
Yeah, don't defecate my car, my shitty
right, well.
Honda Accord.
Somebody wiped coffee on Adam's car because I guess your tire was on the
It's an
line.
ongoing investigation. I'll let you guys know how it turns out. Anyway, we gotta go.
Yeah. Thanks for
Sorry.
watching, everybody, and
Thank
thanks
you, guys.
to
Thanks, everybody.
thanks to our sponsors.
Much appreciated. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Wolfenstein's awesome. Play
Yeah,
it.
it is.
Because they gave us basically every single detail at the Xbox One and like how it worked, and we all kind of thought it was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like it sounds like Steam, but on a console. And people exploded. They hated it.
Yeah.
And within what was like 3-4 days, Microsoft was like, oh, never mind. Like, we'll go back to what it was.
It's funny. I just had a moment right now. I plugged in my PlayStation 4 and I was loading up. Damn. I lost that one.
Blew it out of your head.
I was using the work one here. I was setting up. I was downloading